Meridian flip test. Here you can see the telescope a bit away from the meridian. So it's got plenty of time before the meridian not to reach any problem areas. I'm running 100 exposures at 120 seconds each, so when it hits the meridian it's exposing and using 2-minute exposures. You can see I have the meridian flip on. I discovered that was a problem through trial and error. Here are the telescope settings in Nina. The sight latitude and longitude match Gemini. That's where I got it from when I started everything up. The times match up properly also. Here you can see the hand controller. The Perform Meridian Flip button never seems to do anything. Here are the current Gemini telescope settings. Longitude and latitude match up with Nina. Here are the advanced settings. Here are the ASCOM settings, and I made sure that the nudge from safety is true, so that's on. So I'll just let it wait until it gets near the meridian, then I'll start videotaping what happens in Nina. It's got 28 minutes yet to hit the meridian, so I'll come back and videotape once it hits the meridian and you can see what happens. While I'm waiting, here are my meridian flip settings, just like I got from the spreadsheet. My limit settings. The time settings. The sight settings match up everything. Okay, so meridian in 20 seconds and got a minute to go for the next image. So I'll just sit here and videotape this. You can fast forward or whatever, because it usually does a flip right after this next image. So I'll hold it here so you can see what happens right away. Okay, it just crossed the meridian. It's exposing for the next frame, so I think I'll just pause it for a little bit and wait till it catches the next frame. Okay, it's set for the 1 minute after the meridian, and it's 2.5 minutes past the meridian, and it's usually starts right after this frame then. There you go, past the meridian, checked off. It's going to settle for a minute. I don't know if you saw in the corner in the lower right, I don't know if I got it, where it popped up about stopping and starting tracking. See, it goes to the plate solve. It thinks it did the flip already. But the mount is still in the same spot. Little error that, of course, it didn't plate solve. Can't center. Now it's going to center or settle for another minute. It thinks it did the flip, but it didn't. And it does show that it passed the meridian and it's tracking. You know, things to try a flip again. Oh. I'll try to get that on the next loop around. I mean, to me, it should do the flip. The errors shouldn't matter because it's plate solving after the meridian flip, so it thinks it did the flip. Let's see what happens if it does it this time, shows anything different. Nope, now it just goes back to imaging. I'll pause it and see what happens after this next image, and then I'll try a little experiment. Okay, it's basically 9 minutes past the meridian. Next exposure is coming up, so let's see what'll happen if it'll try again. And next exposure coming up now. There we go. Tracking stop, tracking continued. So Gemini's acting like it did the flip. So what I'm going to try to do is cancel the flip. Up there, Gemini tracked. What I'm going to do is go and stop the sequence, reset it to 0, and start the sequence again after. Oh, see, now it didn't do it. I stopped the sequence and redid the sequence, and it says it's flipping the scope, but scope ain't flipping. Oh, now it is. Just took a little bit. So this will be a successful flip. However, you notice I have to, it has to, if I stop imaging or I start imaging after it passes the meridian, it will flip. But it won't flip if I have the sequence going before the meridian, and I had it well before the meridian, over a half hour before the meridian. So that's the only way I can do a successful, is if I start a successful flip, if I start flipping, or start sequencing after the meridian. So it flipped the scope. Now it's going to settle. I'll see what happens when it's settled, but it's weird that if I start a sequence well before the meridian, it doesn't flip. It thinks it flips, but it doesn't. But then if I start a sequence of photos after the meridian, when it's tracked after the meridian, it will well, that's odd. It's tracking backwards. Oh no, it flipped back. Never mind. See, it flipped back to where I was. The camera screwed up, so something's weird. It should be over. It's not aiming in the right spot, so somehow the coordinates are getting mixed up. That's interesting. See, it started over here, but it should be over here imaging now. So I really have to figure out what's going on, because everything's set the exact way it should be. Let's try this. Current object slew. Wow, it seems the coordinates are really screwed up, so I don't know what's going on. Let's go past the meridian. Wow, it should be basically straight like that. So somehow the coordinates are getting mixed up. I have no clue. right ascension is 2011. Well, the right ascension is correct there. Tracking says custom. I don't know why. Why it just doesn't say side reel. So I have no clue as to what to even attempt to fix. I started at counterweight down, because that's exactly where it would be if I did the polar alignment. So I have no clue. Thank you for watching the video. If there's any questions or something that needs to be clarified, please let me know.